Hello and welcome to the All Night Gamers podcast, episode 48. Hi, hello, hi, welcome to the show. We've got a long show in store. A lot of rumors come up, a lot of things being announced, a good bit of complaining about scalpers per the usual. So we're just going to get right into it because this is going to be a long show. First off, Skyward Sword HD out now. The amiibo, if you don't already have them, are most likely delayed until next month. I happen to get mine
day the podcast comes out.
Yeah, so it's shipped as of recording, so by the time this episode is out, which is tomorrow, I will have it. So luckily I didn't have to wait till August, but
Alex, did mine arrive at home?
They arrived on lunch day.
Yeah, it must be nice.
Wait, how many? Because I ordered
Mine and yours.
Okay, what about the one from Target?
I've got 2 and one's open.
Okay. The one
What
from
did you
Target
order,
has not
3?
arrived yet. Yeah, I was going to make sure I got it.
God, dude, Cameron, you are such a freaking scalper. Oh my god, you're such
I'm not a scalper.
You're a scalper. 2?
What the
Give him
fuck?
the flare.
Bro,
No!
yeah, Cameron's a scalper.
I'm not a scalper!
One of them is someone's buying one off you, right?
No. I bought the extra in case one of them failed to, like...
Bro,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, scalper. Freaking
What
scalper.
the
Cameron's a scalper. It's
No!
okay. Look, if Alex or Haley or something was going to buy one off you, then
Actually,
that's fine.
my roommate Andy might.
And I'm gonna figure out this Andy guy. I'm gonna get his number and make sure that he doesn't pay a freaking dime over MSRP plus shipping. If he pays a dime more than what you paid for that thing, you getting that scalper roll. Freaking scalper.
I don't want to ship that down there.
You don't have to. If
It's
it
not
arrives.
here.
Damn, never mind. You may have to.
I can't believe this man out here buying 3 amiibo of the same kind.
2. I bought 2 amiibo.
Hold on,
Alex bought
Grant.
one.
He bought 2 copies of all the Monster Hunter amiibo.
I know. This isn't the first time this has come up. It's just every time it comes up, I'm gonna claim.
Hold on.
I'm gonna.
Look, hold on. We got an entire show we could fill with me and my amiibo addiction.
Yeah, the boy.
This is not that show.
This is the boy who cried scalper. Literally.
The boy who cried scalper.
This is the boy who cried scalper.
No. It's
Okay.
not.
Anyway, so yeah, I hopefully your amiibo didn't get delayed, but if it did, heart goes out to you. I've played it this weekend, about 10 hours worth. It is good. The HD upgrade's pretty nice. The frame rate's solid. The controls are bad. And if it wasn't for the button controls, I would have stopped playing. The button controls are cumbersome, I think. Alex and I were talking about this before the show, but the motion controls are really frustrating, especially for someone who is left-handed, as myself.
Yeah, I heard there's no option for left-handed controls, which is on one hand, like I get from a
Honestly,
game
though,
development perspective, but just like
I didn't even think about it most of the time when I was seeing how bad it was. It's just, one, I'm not coordinated enough. I think that's some part of it, but 2 is that it doesn't work great. You have to reset the gyro constantly, and it's not very receptive when you need it to be. Like when you're trying to make it be unreceptive just so you can rail on it, it works fine. But when you're like actually in the game just trying to play, it's just frustrating. It doesn't work great. The button controls are cumbersome. Like you have to use the L button in order to make the right stick turn the camera instead of the sword, but it becomes intuitive. Like
as you're playing.
Yeah, once you I got through the first couple dungeons, and now it's just second nature to me. Like at the beginning, it was weird, but other than the controls, I think it's great.
I have seen that they put in a lot of quality of life features, which is good because people thought they weren't. But you don't have to talk to Fee. Items aren't dinging you every time you pick them up. They cut down that tutorial at the very beginning a lot instead of being interrupted like every 3 seconds.
Yeah, I do enjoy that. I was really glad to see the thing with the items. So like, it only tells you about it the first time, and
Yeah.
after that, it doesn't tell you about it anymore.
And that's not like per reset. That's just the whole playthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Excellent. That's gonna save a lot of time.
yeah.
Let's be honest.
And also, I really have enjoyed seeing how many things from Breath of the Wild are themed or inspired by Skyward Sword stuff, whether that be the design or some of the mechanics, like the sailcloth, or a lot of the art really is very Breath of the Wildy, which I think is super cool. So, yeah, I mean, other than controls, and honestly, if I started with button controls from the start, probably after the first dungeon, I would have been fine with them, and I'm fine with them now that I've played a couple dungeons. But yeah, it's just
Some of the dungeons in that game get really crazy.
yeah. I'm looking forward to playing more of the game. I'm definitely gonna play through this. My Joy-Con haven't drifted, which is good.
Way to jinx it.
Yeah.
I'm not using them anymore. I played like 8 hours with them, and that's good. They are barely going to be used anymore.
Speaking of motion controls, maybe you're like me and you realize you don't know how to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I was playing Metroid Prime, the trilogy, and it doesn't feel intuitive like it used to.
No. Maybe we're just getting old.
Or maybe it's just been.
I don't like that.
I've played
That's a
motion
bad
control
outcome.
games.
Don't tell me that.
I was
Yeah.
getting used to it as I was playing. It's a little off-putting when you haven't had to move, and it's kind of a little weird that it's like mapped. You move with the C stick, right, on the nunchuck, but you move the camera of the screen, like your vision, with the Wii remote where you're pointing it.
Yeah. I had this problem with Mario Galaxy 2, and I don't think... Look, I don't usually find motion controls offensive. I never really have. And I get that's why a lot of people don't like the Wii that much, and that's fair. Motion controls are mostly useless. And Skyward Sword has reminded me of that. And I went back and played Mario Galaxy 2. I started it again. And immediately, I don't like it anymore compared to Galaxy 1, solely because I don't have the option of using button controls like I did in 3D All-Stars for Galaxy 1. Like, it's not bad in a vacuum, but now that I've been spoiled with having a game that is as good as Mario Galaxy with controls that are actually normal to use, and I have to go back and play the other one, which I liked before, but now I don't enjoy as much solely because of the control method I'm forced to use. Like, it kind of stings a little bit because I've never really had a problem with motion controls, but like if you give me button controls and then make me use motion controls in the same game, I think I'm discovering that I have a problem with that. So I don't know. Like I'm gonna give Mario Galaxy 2 a shot and see if it's just like maybe it's just been a long time and I'm being frustrated.
That's kind of what I think
whatever.
it was.
Like, I'm gonna give it. I only played like 5 levels, so I'm early in. I'll admit that. Like I need to go give it more time, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I think I recommend Skyward Sword. It's the big thing is that like now that we're in a post Breath of the Wild Zelda era, it's just not going to be as good as we remember it being. But that's okay. You know, like it's not bad. It's just I don't know, the next 3D Zelda like that after Breath of the Wild, if it's not Breath of the Wild 2, it's just gonna kind of feel a bit more meh, even though the game's fine. So, for a typical Zelda game, I think it's good. The button controls are the best they could have done, I think, without totally overhauling the mechanics of how you fight. So,
which I guess they could have, but at that point, you just throw it out and go, we're gonna remaster. Or
yeah,
not
it wouldn't
remaster,
just be like an HD upgrade. It's like
we're gonna reimagine Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
At that point, yeah.
They keep it intact. I mean, it's got the same feel, I think. So, Yeah, no complaints other than the controls. Anyway, oh yeah. Also, Cooper's not here this week. We've got like 10 minutes in this episode. We forgot to. Cooper is out. He is busy with
Dying
marching band
because of
activities,
marching band.
and that's really rough. And we're recording this
Yeah.
super late due to the rest of our schedules being
Yep.
totally insane.
They're
So yeah, rip Cooper this week. It's just
the
truth.
band director
All
has
of our
them running
schedules.
basically 12-hour days this week.
Been there, done that. Pain.
Not like this. We ran from like
I'm talking
Hey.
about my internship.
oh yeah, but they're running from like 6:45 to 6.
I mean, we did 7 to 5, so that's like an extra hour 15. So yeah, I
You
feel
know,
that. But
I'm just talking about my internship.
I mean, 11 hours compared to 12 hours. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so he's going through it right now. So he's not here because we're recording very late.
He's dead.
Anyway, moving on. So Switch OLED. We talked about it last week.
The swole.
The SWOLED. The pre-orders went up, and I want you to
They
pause
went
this
gone.
podcast right now and tell me, while you're sitting alone listening to this, how well you think it went. Yeah, I agree. It went terribly. Yeah, being that I can have access to my computer at work, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like, even though it's not the best upgrade, we can debate that later. I'm a simp. I'm gonna get this stupid thing. I'm gonna get it. I might as well
I want a special edition.
And I just need to be real with myself that I'm gonna get it anyway. So.
I really like how sleek it looks.
Yeah, I love the white coloring. And it even though it isn't a special edition, it feels very Metroid-y, just given
That's
the design
true.
of the new Metroid.
You
I
got
think it all
the
fits- I got
white
the-
one, right?
Yes, I got the white one.
Okay.
But
I've
it was
heard-
a hard fought battle, I'll tell you what. So first
You
First
have
one-
those colors.
so
Huh?
what?
The other colors, right?
What color?
Yeah, he has neon, but
Wait,
the
what was the
neon
hard-
stuck around for a while longer.
Yeah, I got the neon colors at
Wait, so what's the
launch
hard
and-
fought battle?
No,
Getting it.
getting the
Oh.
pre-order. It's a
Yeah.
Switch pre-order. What do you think?
Get out.
Okay, bye.
So, first up was I can't remember which one went up. I think it was Walmart. They went up like 15 minutes early, because of course they did.
It's Walmart.
That went terribly. Best Buy, they've got the stupid queue mechanism thing that they've got.
I hate that queue mechanism
Yeah,
thing.
so I had it both on my computer and on my phone. I accidentally
Been there.
refreshed on my computer, so I screwed that up, but I still had it on my phone. And then it actually worked for the first time. The queue worked. I got it in my cart. I went to check out. It was like log in again after I had logged in before this whole crap started to make sure I didn't
The
do that.
costume.
It was like log in again. So I logged in again, and then I get a thing that's like, oh, we sent an email to you to verify your account. So go get that code and come back. So obviously it was shot there. By the time I got the code, it was out of the cart. It was sold out. So that was worthless.
But
And
at
Thanks,
least your
Best
Best
Buy.
Buy's set up for next time, I guess.
I hate. No, that's the problem. Best Buy's setup is like that for all the
it's
hot ticket
garbage,
items.
bro. Best
and
Buy
it's
stuff has
absol-
been screwing with me a lot recently. I still can't see my order details for my Zelda amiibo. Luckily, they sent me an email with my tracking info, because if it was in the order details page for that amiibo, I just couldn't be able to see it. I haven't been able to look at it since I pre-ordered it, and I was really worried I wasn't going to get it. Like, their software has just been messing with me a lot. So anyway, that went bad.
Like they just screwed everything up. I don't
GameStop went up
understand their
next.
logic.
So I was like, I really don't want to order from GameStop, because if there's one company that's going to send it after launch day, it's going to be GameStop. But I was
True.
like, I'm going to get this thing. So GameStop went up next. The white one went up first, sold out. The neon, I had the chance to get the neon one. I had it in my cart, but I was like, I don't want the neon one. I want the white one. So that one's out. And then Target just happens. So at this point, I'm left with Target and Amazon. Amazon's not going to happen. So basically, I'm left with Target. So I've got the page up, and I'm refreshing like a SOB. It's pretty much the same with the Metroid Dread stuff. And
You did it
I get
before
it.
really
I
started
knew
going
I
up.
got it because I saw it go live before Wario64 tweeted about it.
Hey, that's exactly what you did with the amiibo.
Yes, it was literally that on repeat. So I was able to get a white one pre-order from Target. Thank the Lord. It took like an
But it's
hour
also
to go through all
Target.
this stuff. I was so pissed off at Best Buy about this thing. Anyway, so yeah,
It
I
is,
do
it is
have
insane how much we're having to rely on Target for video game stuff lately.
Yeah, I know. After I
This whole last
and I
year
really
is
didn't want
insane.
to because I still am upset about that Luigi's Mansion 3 thing.
It was forever ago, but like fair.
So, anyway, I hope you got one because if you didn't, they're sold out everywhere. And if you if you want to take a look at eBay right now, you should totally look at it because it's horrifying. $700 about, $600, $700, $800, $1,000 even, and people are buying those.
Yay.
I've seen
Yeah, I know
them
people are
sold for
buying those.
$500
People
to
are
$600. So,
Yeah, no, people are insane. They
yeah.
like it's not when it actually gets like around to physical places, it is not going to sell out nearly as badly as the Switch did at launch because you've got the same exact option. Like it's not going to sell out.
And
physically.
the neon one was even up for over a day at some places. But
Yeah,
the
just
problem
nobody
is
wants
that
that color.
everybody wanted the white one, so that's why it was such a hard fought thing. But yeah, it's
'Cause
pretty
it
much the
looks
same
really
old.
good.
Yeah, it does. But it's pretty much the same old song and dance with anything Nintendo these days in terms of scalpers. So yeah,
I mean,
that's
with anybody,
my
though,
war
it's not
story of
just
the week.
them getting scalped like crazy. You
Which
still can't even
actually
find a
brings us-
PS5 in pub. Whatever, my mind's not working.
That actually does bring us to the next announcement.
The SteamDeck.
Yeah, I've been looking because I saw it earlier today, but I wonder if the mods removed it. Valve had released the the sales numbers for the first day.
Yeah, it was like.
It was like 50,000 for
Yeah.
all of them total, which isn't bad for their first one, but a
Considering
lot
how
of media
little-
have been trying to push this as it will kill the Switch.
which is also insane.
So
And do you know that the Switch OLED easily sold that in its first day?
And
I
probably
don't.
sells it
It's
at
not
a
gonna
high
happen.
place.
the problem is that this is a product made by Valve, and nothing Valve has
Nothing-
ever
yeah.
made would do that.
It's supported
if this
after,
was,
like, 3
if
months.
this was a Sony product, it probably would. If it was designed by Sony, it would be because it would actually be designed to be a Switch killer. The problem is Valve makes niche stuff. Their VR headsets are niche. The Steam controller and Steam Link were both very niche products.
Yeah, Steam Link,
Yeah,
Steam
and
Box,
they dropped
Steam.
support like almost immediately on all of those.
They've had 2 VR headsets so far,
you-
but one got.
You essentially do not have like any goodwill with people that have bought your products because you keep dropping support immediately because it's not doing any numbers. And like if you're going to buy a Steam box or whatever, then why would you not just build a PC, you know?
Because you want to
Especially the
Switch for
expensive
your
ones.
Steam. And
But
that's
why?
about.
So I'm
Why
not
would-
like
why would you
I
want
think
that?
I think there's totally a market for this. The reason that I don't think
Oh,
it's a Switch
absolutely.
color is just because it's made by Valve, and Valve is bad
Valve
at
is
doing
going to
things.
drop support
Um,
like almost immediately.
but there's a market, and if this was made by someone
everybody's
other than
been-
Valve, it would,
Everybody's been trying to sell a Switch killer like this for PCs since about the Switch was out for 2 years. They all cost about $1,000.
I mean,
starting
I
now.
mean, yeah, if you're gonna get if you're trying to get a Switch killer that's a PC grade machine, it's gonna be expensive. But what I'm saying is, this just isn't the same market as the Switch. I don't think.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Besides the portability factor, because it's still not as portable. It still doesn't come with the dock.
Yeah,
It's not
it weighs
designed
like.
It's not designed for local multiplayer. The battery life is even worse than a Switch. The
that's-
controls are bulky. Like, that's not portable, if
Dude,
you ask me. And also, the D-pad being to the
Dang.
left of the analog stick. Are you kidding me? Who puts the...
You're just running through all these topics. I actually want to cover a couple of these.
I mean, we can go back. I'm just trying to, like, if you pound them all together, like, there's a bunch of reasons that,
It's gonna fail.
like...
So I will actually wanted to talk. The bulkiness was one of the ones I wanted to hit.
Because
So
the Wii
this
U
thing
was
weighs
constantly
twice
that.
as much as the regular Switch, and I think about almost 3 times as much as the Lite. And I don't know about y'all, but I've
Switch
held.
gets heavy after holding
Yeah.
for a while. Like,
We also gotta remember that when it comes in the aspect of Switch killer, that's usually the PC Master Race people.
Yeah.
And they will do literally anything to beat down on any console.
Yeah.
So regardless of if it's 3 times, if it's twice as heavy and has 2/3 the battery life, but it plays Doom
Steam
Eternal at 60 FPS, so I guess it's better.
This
Oh,
hurts
man,
my hands faster.
I
but
love
I
the
can play Doom for 30 minutes.
it came out. It was like 2 to 8 hours, and I was like 8 hours with this thing's better. Okay, so you set it to like 10 brightness and put what Celeste?
Yeah,
You got
like
8 hours?
Shovel Knight.
Yeah, you're putting an indie game in there. You're not putting it because it's. I remember some people were like, "Yeah, look, this will be able to play Breath of the Wild at not 10 frames per second."
No,
That's
it
not.
will play it
It'll
worse.
probably like
you'd
it
have
doesn't
to-
matter how it plays it. It's still gonna burn just as much battery as Breath of the Wild on the Switch will because there's nothing to help. Like you're not gonna be able to boost the battery just by going. This is more powerful.
So
here's one thing. Grant, which one did you buy? The 64 or what? You
I
got
did not.
one, right?
I did not get a Steam Deck.
I see. Okay.
I will explain why
So-
after your thing.
They talked about you could expand the memory with SD cards. Do you both know the problem with that? SD cards are not designed to constantly read and write. Like,
Which is why the Switch uses
overused.
micro
micro's the same, but most of the things on your Switch micro
aren't
will
being
be
constantly overwritten.
aren't going to be
Yeah, because all the
they're
save
most-
data and such is on the Switch itself. Like,
I mean, yeah, and like you can upgrade. Like you're not going to be overwriting the card much. I don't think, right?
No, I meant like read and write. You're not supposed to just keep jumping back and forth between that.
Yeah, but
But
you're
if
not
you're
going to
using-
be you're not going to be writing a lot of data to it. So, I mean,
You're not supposed to really be doing a lot of either, though.
Well, then the Switch is a culprit because if
True.
you have any game on your SD card, then you have to read it every time you boot the game up. Well, I mean,
and
obviously,
you can see that when it's slowed down.
Hold on.
people who get the
'Cause it
Switch,
does
people
slow
who
down.
get the Steam Deck, aren't going to be flexing if they get the base model because the other models besides the base model do not use eMMC memory, which is what micro SD cards are. They use NVMe drives. So that's the flex. Also, the Steam Deck reportedly has 2 M.2 slots in it for NVMe upgrades as well. So even if you get the base model, you should be able to upgrade it with NVMe drives at some point in your future if you have one.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean that's where the big flex comes from. Is not the base model. It's from the 512 gig MF NVMe drive, so you can load games super quickly. You've got the anti-glare thing. You've got all the stuff that comes with it, like whatever, the big flex. And this is just a PC Master Race product. It's expensive, and doesn't quite work as well, but it's the flex. It's like people buying Macs.
Apple products.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but for video games. Like, it's not the best option, but it's
But
the
it shows
flex.
you have money.
It shows you've got money, and PC Master Race people are elitist. The reason that I didn't get one is because I don't have a lot of games on my Steam library that I would want to play portably that I don't already own on a Switch. And given that I've invested a lot more money at this point into the Switch ecosystem that I have into my PC's ecosystem, I would rather just stick with the Switch.
Mhm.
Now, admittedly, I'm a bit console biased, but I mean, I'm a PC gamer. I've had a PC for 5 years now. I vibe with that. But most of my Steam games are either games that are really old and I've played,
Or
they're
multiplayer games,
or they're
too.
really or they're like Apex Legends and Rocket, like games that
Games you don't
require a
want
lot of
to-
performance. Like I
Also,
don't like
games
playing.
that you don't want to play with regular or like with Joy-Con
Well,
controls.
like
basically.
Rocket League, for example, I still prefer a controller. I don't play the Switch version because I don't want 720p 30 on a competitive game like that. I want my nice big 27-inch screen with the 144 hertz, like with the bells and whistles, because that's competitive. If it's Mario, I don't care. But if it's Apex Legends, I'm not going to play that on my Switch. But I'm also not going to play it on my Steam Deck because I would not play it on a Steam Deck because I have my PC, and my PC is just naturally going to be more powerful than my Steam Deck. So yeah, that's why I didn't get one, but I don't think it's a bad product. It's just not the Switch killer because it's not the same market.
Right. And I actually wanted to talk some things about the price. So we know the lowest is 400, right?
Yeah.
Which I've seen several people be like, it's only $50 more than the OLED. And it's like, bruh, if you're going to compare the lowest version of the Steam Deck, you got to compare it with the cheapest version of the Switch, which is the Switch Lite, which is $200.
Yeah, but that one does this. Okay, so
Well, here's the thing. The Steam Deck doesn't come with a dock. So you've got to spend
but you have the option. Like, you're correct that you would have to spend more to do it, but you have the option. Also, like $300 or so. Let's take Switch OLED. Let's take the top of the line versus top of the line. What do you get? Switch OLED. You get a 7-inch OLED screen. You get pretty much the same battery life that we've gotten with the Switch since V2. So
Right.
3-ish hours at worst. You get a dock and you get some Joy-Cons and a grip. So with the Steam Deck top model, for an additional $300, you get what, like 5 times the storage? In terms, and you also get an NVMe, so it's way faster.
Yes,
you get
but
more.
hold on the storage. I want to comment on this. So games put on Switch, even if they're on PC, they're usually like half the size or a fourth the size.
That's a good point. PC games are very big.
Yeah, because
big.
I want to say it was Doom is like a quarter of the size it is on PC. Because they're like, we can't take all the space, but the games aren't going to be changed
they don't put the big 4K textures in the Switch.
True,
because there's no reason for it. So it probably won't be either. Like, it'll be bigger.
Well,
but unless you're downloading COD or Assassin's Creed or like a super big AAA game, which honestly, why would you play on a Steam Deck? Because if you're buying a Steam Deck, you probably have a PC already that can smoke the Steam Deck in terms of performance. So like, you're buying it for like lighter games that are fun to take portably. Because like, for the same reason I mentioned, I'm not buying I didn't buy a Switch to play Apex Legends. I have a PC for that. Why would I want to play Apex Legends on the bus? Not only would it be a terrible experience, but also I'm not trying to be that angry in public. And I don't think anyone else is.
Aren't you though?
No.
Sad.
But you also get more power, and you get a vaster library just because Steam is the vastest of libraries. But it's not saying that the Switch is small. It's just nothing competes with PC in terms of library size because you've got literally everything.
20 plus years.
So yeah, I mean, overall, like, there's a market. I see it. It's not a Switch killer.
No.
I definitely agree with that idea. It's for people who already have a built Steam library, which there are several of, and that's why Valve exclusively sold it to them during the sale.
Yeah, it's a Steam product. It's
Yeah.
they're like they know who they're marketing to. They're marketing to PC players. Something good. Some good news about this though is that people who got the Steam Deck to scalp it and put it online, eBay is fighting back and removing a lot of those because it goes against their pre-sale policy.
And they fight it back
I'm a
against
little
all the other
surprised they're
products.
only doing this one though.
There's so many other
So,
products
I
that
think it's-
have this exact same issue.
I think
I think Steam's pushing for it.
both that and like usually when products go up for pre-order, there's a launch date given. For the Steam Deck, there's not. They give you a quarter. So like you could get your thing. Like if you order the top of the line model, there's a good chance you don't get it until quarter
Till
three
quarter
of-
two
quarter
of
three of next
2022.
year.
I see.
And so they
I've
they don't give you a date. They give you like a range within a couple months. And
So
if,
there's-
they're even bigger attacking it now because there's not even a specified release date for it.
Let's see.
So that's some good news. Get wrecked, scalpers.
Yeah, maybe they'll crack down on, or like maybe they'll tighten up the pre-order policy after this.
I definitely wanted to cover one last thing we already kind of mentioned.
Yeah, hit it.
It's so ugly, and I hate the button layout.
I don't think it's that ugly given the fact that there's also trackpads on there, which I think is cool.
Fair.
Because one thing I noted, so I have a Vive VR set, which was the first Steam headset, and their trackpads work pretty well for being trackpads. I think they're pretty cool, and like it works. I will. The big thing that bothers me is the D-pad placement, because if there's one thing that I see the Steam Deck doing really well, it's to get higher frame rates than Switch on like lighter games. And
well, yeah,
because,
obviously.
like, that's what you're doing. So a lot of those games are going to be 2D games, indie games, that kind of thing. So why would you put the D-pad to the direct left of the stick? Why would you do that?
The buttons are to the direct right of the other stick. I wanted to put either in that location.
Like I can only imagine holding it like your thumb is gonna have to be vertical on that. It feels like I don't know. I just don't get it. I mean, the rest of it.
Somebody
seems...
got paid to design that.
The sticks are in generally the right spot for this kind of tablet, or one of the spots you can have it. The buttons are not.
Somebody got paid.
Either the buttons or
somebody got paid.
Somebody got paid to design this. Like, I want that person to be me because they got paid to screw up.
Did want to cover one more thing though. All three console manufacturers right now have had problems with drifting. It's really easy to just kind of send off Microsoft and Sony's, even though you have to pay right now. And Nintendo's replacing them for free. But at least with the Switch, which is the specific one I wanted to cover, outside of the Switch Lite, you can remove the controllers. This is more expensive than the Switch, and the controllers are stuck to it. If it has drifting problems,
just because they promise.
I don't think they will, and I rebut that Xbox has drifting problems. Other than like the 2 times that someone reported about it, because everyone's bitching about Nintendo having problems with it,
and Sony
to a lesser degree, also I think. Because I've got reconfirmed after Mayo bought a new pair of Joy-Cons and it also drifted out of the box. Literally every pair of Joy-Cons or controller that Mayo has bought has drifted out of the box. And I'm sorry, other platforms may drift too, but I've bought so many controllers because I have a problem. And I've never had an issue like that on any console besides the Switch. Don't make me bring up my Switch Lite drifting out of the box again.
You just did.
But yeah, I also really hope that there's not drifting problems on the Steam Deck because that would suck. Imagine paying $650 just for it to drift out of the box.
Well, and here's the thing. The 3 console manufacturers that we have, you know where their corporate offices are. You know about how long their programs can take to fix your console because they've been around forever. You can find out this info, unless you're in Europe, where all I ever hear is complaints about all of them in Europe for some reason. I don't know why it's so much worse.
Bad.
when I've only had to use Nintendo's, and I've only had a good time using them. Like, I don't know if that's the right wording, but good experience.
Nintendo's got a good reputation for fixing stuff. Yes.
Yeah, but I always hear about how much worse it is in Europe for all of them, and I'm like, what's going on over there? But Valve, I don't think's had to fix anything.
Also,
outside of
Valve, like Karen mentioned earlier, has notoriously poor customer support.
That's very true.
Yeah, that would be extra awful.
It's kind of cool, but there's a lot of red flags here.
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't have a Steam library to buy one. I don't really plan to get it.
Have the need. Like, I'm so into the Switch ecosystem at this point that I just don't want to jump ship. But like, there's a market for it. It's not that offensive of a product to me. Like, I think it's cool. If I had the money to get, I kind of wish I was a YouTuber that just bought everything that came out so they could talk about it, because I would love to see one in person and like experience it. And maybe that would even make my opinion of it a little better if I could like hold it in my hands and play with it, and like, oh, maybe actually the D-pad's comfortable up here, like to my big surprise. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I think is going to hurt its sales in the long run. Well, for a couple reasons. One, it's not going to be sold in traditional stores. You have to buy it off Steam's site.
So are the others.
Also, I don't think Steam is making this to compete with the Switch. I don't think that's their goal.
No, but people are going to push it like it is.
Little Timmy's mama's not going to buy it for Christmas.
No. Well, little Timmy also doesn't have a PC, so.
True.
Poor little Timmy.
I don't think little Timmy knows what a Steam is.
Poor little Timmy.
Because it's, yeah.
Well, yeah. So
right.
that's the Steam Deck.
Oh my gosh, we talked so long about that.
Well, that's like one of the bigger things.
Super interesting, an interesting thing.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. Neo: The World Ends With You released on Switch on accident for a few hours on the 17th, and if you or one of the people,
so I can cover it.
Yeah, why don't you go for it?
All right, on the 17th, if you had Neo: The World Ends With You physical edition pre-ordered at Square Enix's site, then they were accidentally sending out digital codes for the full game.
But only the Switch version.
Yeah, only. Well, yeah,
Wait,
there's Switch and PS4. No, because mine, as I told Grant yesterday while we were playing, because I was like,
so sorry that I had to work.
The day before, they had emailed me to tell me there was a problem with my card.
Ooh.
And I didn't catch it. So I did not get a code.
Very sad.
Yeah. Now they're going through, though, Nintendo and Square, they're revoking licenses because you didn't pay for a digital copy. What these codes were supposed to be is just
the DLC.
Bonus content for the game that you got early if you had pre-ordered from Square. Like, there's a different set if you pre-ordered digitally. So it was just a mess up all around. And I'm just trying to avoid spoilers at this point.
So, yeah, that happened.
Yeah, very fun.
Avoiding spoilers is always fun.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because you never know. The real problem is you can jump in a thread that's not related and still find spoilers for something.
Yeah, but thankfully it's Neo: The World Ends With You and not like in-game.
Well,
so...
yeah, and it also helps that they shut it down really fast, which is why I didn't get a copy, which is disappointing, but I'd rather them have it not be everywhere.
Yeah. But, I mean...
Since they're still a week out from its release as of this recording.
My schedule goes up in half an hour, and I gotta see if I can actually go pick that up on launch.
Okay, on to Collector's Corner. This is the weekly segment where we go around and talk about games we've been playing and stuff that we bought and general good news and other things like that. So, Alex, why don't you start us off?
Okay. I didn't buy it, but it was kind of a gift, I guess. Let's go with that. Skyward Sword HD. I have not gotten to play it yet because I was playing. Yeah, that happened this week. I beat. I don't think I'm confusing dates. I think that happened this week. I beat Zero Mission, right?
Nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I didn't cover this last week. It's just been a confusing week.
Time has no meaning.
Right? I started I started Samus Returns on the 3DS. I like it a lot.
I've had this
I
since
just
launch and I haven't played it.
my hands get very exhausted playing 3DS for a long time with weird, and it's got a lot of weird controls with it, kind of. But I see why the director was kind of upset he didn't have the bottom screen, because they were able to set like the different. So you have the energy shot, which is the normal one, but on the touch screen at below, you can be shooting that one and then immediately switch it over to the ice beam. But got tired of playing my 3DS for a long time, so I was playing some Metroid Prime today. And it's going pretty well. It's just a little awkward getting reused to motion controls. I've heard that it's better with motion over the GameCube. I don't know if that's true. I own both, though. So I guess if I get tired of motion controls, I could try that out. But it wouldn't help for the sequels. And my mom's car wasn't completely totaled in the wreck we were in. We were able to drive it still. But it's got to go to the shop.
Yeah.
And that happened earlier today.
Absolutely insane. I cannot believe I wasn't there for that. Like, I checked my phone while I was backstage, and I was just like, am I supposed to like call out? Like, am I supposed to go home and try to? I can't help. I'm 7 hours away.
All right then, Cameron.
So this week I have been playing. I played some Smash Bros. I played some World's End Club. I got the Smash Spirits, and I bought a shelf, like a hardwood shelf from Cast Connections for $15.
Nice.
That was fun to load into my car.
That's what was in
'Cause
your
it was-
car.
Yeah, in that photo, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why we took the photo, because we had just finished loading it into my car.
Nice.
Yeah, and Megan bought me the Riviera art thing.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice. She's very nice. And yeah, that's about it for me. I think time has not meant anything, so I am very bad about actually making sure I'm playing games during my off time.
Yeah. Okay, well, time for the mother load. So we'll talk about this in a minute in tidbits, but the end is nigh for 3DS and Wii U eShop. So today there was a slight sale on eShop cards. And when I say slight sale, I mean like $4.50 off. of a $35 card, so you can only buy 3. So I bought 3. So basically, I dumped $100 on eShop credit.
They had a little better sale on the 50.
And I mean, I don't need like
$150.
Yeah. So,
don't you though?
No.
And I've had a bunch of stuff I've been wanting on my 3DS and Wii eShop for a while, and I was like, I'll do it when they start shutting down because it's not going to be too long from now. And it's finally happening. So I got on the Wii U, I got Spirit Tracks, Legends of Zelda Spirit Tracks, Metroid Zero Mission, Kirby Nightmare and Dreamland, Advance Wars Dual Strike, and the regular Advance Wars from GBA, Wario Land 4, and Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3 because I wanted to have access to the e-reader levels.
Special levels, right?
Yeah, I wanted to get the e-reader cards for the longest time, but that's gonna be such a pain in the ass to find that I just was like, I'll just get this on Wii U so I can play them. And then on 3DS, I got Mega Man and Dr. Wily's Revenge, Kirby's Pinball Land, Wario Land 2, Wario Land 3, Shantae, and Oracle of Ages and Seasons. I have Seasons physically, but I don't have Ages, and I figured if there's one way to experience the content between them, I might as well just get them on here. So, that's how I spent $100 on the eShop today.
Those are rookie numbers.
Yeah, whatever.
Gotta pump up those numbers, boy.
Oh, we're not gonna talk about what I've spent in the past.
No, you've already told us.
Yeah, idiot.
Yeah. That was most everything. Let's go with that.
Yeah, but who's the one that spent $5 on Minority Report for GameCube, huh? That's right, me, boy.
What?
You don't even know what that game is. You don't even know what that game is.
Based on the movie, right?
I have no idea, dude. I bought it because I needed a good case. Anyway, that was a long time ago. I got Phasmophobia and played it with you, Alex, and some other friends.
That's what I was forgetting.
Yeah.
We did that.
And I played another level today. I died and I nearly peed. It's very.
Wait, how do you die?
I died like 3 times yesterday because we kept letting me
dying in that game.
Because the ghost would go after me and your computer would lag and I'd end up dead.
Wait, there's actually ghosts?
Boy, you own the game and you're level 6.
Anything
Cameron,
when I played it.
How did you get to level 6?
I don't know. I never saw any ghosts.
Okay, well, you gotta play with us sometime then, because we see one every time.
With what computer? Actually, I forgot. While I was at Casting Connections, I bought a tower.
Computer.
No, I only bought a tower for $10.
Your laptop would probably run it. It's very low demand.
He'll lag when the ghosts show up, though.
I mean, we can give it a shot and just see what happens.
Activate.
I don't know. We were playing yesterday.
I
one
need to
last
buy
round.
External storage.
And it was me, Grant, and Dakota. And a ghost attack was charging me and Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
And Dakota's like, hide! And I'm already hiding in the closet, so it charged him while it was opening the closet to get me. So Grant and I immediately left.
Bye.
Yeah,
you're a dead body.
That game is really fun with friends, and by yourself, it's very terrifying. So yeah, played that. Obviously, Skyward Sword. Little bit of for Bikini Bottom on GameCube, Battle for Bikini Bottom. I got all my refurbishment parts in for my Silver Cube that I got, so nice. I took it fully apart, gave it a full scrub down, the whole TLC deal on it. It's nice and clean, got a new battery in it, fully wiped down, washed, and working perfectly. I got my controllers they got new sticks, new pads in them. They feel brand new. They're great. Very satisfying to click now. Also, I played a little bit more Final Fantasy VII on my PS1 now that I've got my little camcorder.
I started Final Fantasy VII Remake this week.
How?
Intergrade?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got the PS5 down there.
Yeah,
I hate you.
That was a PS5.
I'm hoping that goes on somewhat of a sale for Black Friday this year because I'll probably get Intergrade. But yeah, so I played through that a little more. I got to I can't remember the town. The first town after the Chocobo thing, we have to like go to the mountain and whatever. It's like a giant gun on the edge of the water. That's where I am right now. And I honestly gotta say, like, for a Japanese RPG, I'm liking it.
Ooh.
The story is really cool, I think, and the problem is the save points are just far enough apart most of the time that by the time I get to the next one, I've had enough. Like, it's kind of exhausting to play. There's so much reading and so much, like, I don't know, like constant freaking random encounters, and it's annoying. But like, I'm doing it because the story is very fascinating, and like a lot of it, seeing what they did on the PS1, like the graphics they were able to do on that piece of crap, like is very impressive.
Yeah.
So I kind of play it also because like, man, that came out like, man, in the late '90s, and that was like incredible. Like if I saw that in the late '90s. Like, if I was a 90s kid growing up and I was used to, like, Super Mario World and stuff like that, and all of a sudden I freaking see that would be awesome. Like, no wonder that it was so popular. They got stuff to do like that.
PS1 RPGs are really interesting to me because they went crazy with random encounters. Like, I honestly... You need the levels, but they could have scaled it down probably a little. Because you're basically onslaughted.
Yes.
And compared to RPGs, JRPGs now, it's a little hard to go back to them because, you know, you've got very repetitive music in the randomized encounters because it's either one track or a couple tracks.
Yeah.
And it's rarely more than that one.
Also, like it's another thing, like, with the save points being so far apart and there being so many random encounters, you usually find yourself pretty weak, and by the time you like find the next town with a save point and you can like get all your items back and you can heal again, it's like a feeling of accomplishment. So I kind of enjoy that a little bit. It's rough, but you know it's fun to like say you beat it. I doubt I'm gonna get all the way through it. It just takes so much time. It's really hard to get me to invest that much time in a game that's gonna like just go on forever. Like Zelda games are already kind of hard to get me to invest a lot of time in, and that's a game that I know about how long it's gonna be. There's gonna be a certain number of dungeons, no more than 8 usually, and that's gonna be it. But there's like no telling how long this game is unless you look it up, but I'm not going to because I don't want to ruin it. So
remake, because of what it is, it's a lot shorter.
Yeah, I know. It only goes like a third of the way through the first disc or something like that.
Third of the way through the first disc? No.
I guess so.
It would. Yeah. It essentially would reach the end of the first disc.
Okay.
Just modify it.
So I think that's...
I'm not gonna talk about that right now.
Oh yeah, Mario Galaxy 2 a little bit. Very annoying with the controls.
Oh my gosh, Grant! Did you even work this week? What the
No.
fuck?
I did. The thing is, I had nothing to do all weekend. I made this weekend to where I had nothing to do except chores and video games. So I played a bunch of stuff and I did a bunch of laundry, and I had nothing to do while the laundry was laundrying. So I just played a lot of things.
I get the chores part, yeah.
Okay, moving on to Cooper Fay. Cooper's not here, so we have some stuff written down.
So we got a new banner with Charlotte, Nyx,
Orochi.
and Orochi. Is that his name? And Nilf.
Her name.
Her. You want to do this?
Sure.
You seem to have played it. Actually, I've been busy.
Huh? Okay. Benny was added as a 3/4 unfocused hero in this banner, which it's been a long time since one of those was added, and Makoto was added as a grand hero battle character.
And that's Faye for the week.
That's what Cooper gave us.
Resident Evil Reverse, which we have played on the channel, has been delayed until 2022. Why? Does anyone know?
No.
It's just delayed?
Yeah.
Wait, but like it was functioning.
Nope.
I'm kind of hoping...
It's about time we forget about it. We just forget about it.
I would
forget about it.
I would generally love if they came out when Reverse is now supposed to come out. They're like, if Capcom's smart, they would give it out for free. to
Yeah.
everyone,
Do
and then
do
sell
like,
skins.
Yeah, now do like Dead by Daylight, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe
It's
they
not
delayed
Dead
it.
by Daylight.
No,
Though.
I know, but like maybe they delayed it because they're doing the Dead by Daylight stuff and they don't want to like overshadow it with like a new multiplayer game.
I kind of get that, but you need people, so I would give it away for free at that point. Because right now
Yeah.
you can only get it with
RE8.
yeah.
Which means both of you have it.
Yeah, but we can't play it.
True.
The June NPD results are in. This Xbox Series X actually came out on top this past month with the highest dollar sales.
The streak.
And the Switch.
Wait, are you sure?
Yes.
I saw that Switch was still in.
The Switch was the
Unbelievable.
highest. Switch was highest units. Series X was highest dollars.
Gotcha. So Switch is still selling the most units for the last
However many months.
40 months.
Yeah, something like that. And Series X is the highest dollar sales. It's just surprising to see Series X and not PS5.
One of them's
Got
available, the other is not.
Facts.
They're really both kind of not, though.
Ratchet and
Okay, but
Clank
one of
for
them's
PS5
more.
topped the charts, which was
Insane.
yeah. And the new Mario Golf reached number 3 without including digital sales. So physical sales only, it got number 3 on the charts, which was pretty cool.
That's pretty good. Because I don't know if I've really seen anyone talking about it.
Nope.
I mean, we talked about it, but
Just now.
we also yeah, we did. Congrats! That's Mario Golf. Let's see. Do we?
Walmart cuts the. Oh yeah, Walmart was cutting the price of
Dude,
some people's pre-orders of the
saw
SWOLED
that. I
to
was like-
$2.99 instead of $3.49.
Like that's
so-
just the price of a Switch. Walmart, what are you doing?
Either
Walmart
it's a
just
mistake
wants
on their
the
system.
sales.
Yeah, it's either a mistake on their system, or they're just doing that because they do that with other products. In which case, I really wish I could somehow figure out how to price that match that. That would be
Okay, but
I-
Walmart.
awesome.
Hold up.
They'll
Walmart
also kick you, though.
canceled. Walmart canceled your PS5.
Yeah. What do you mean?
He would have done your
He would have
thing,
risked it
Cameron.
again.
No, he would have ordered twice.
No, I'm saying I would want a price match like with Target.
Oh, fair.
Oh,
I don't
that's
want to
fair.
order from Walmart.
Target,
No, no. Yeah.
Target
so,
sucks, but so does Walmart. They all kind of suck.
So yeah, that's interesting. We'll definitely keep an eye
Yeah.
on that because I would like a price cut on my SWOLED.
Definitely,
Probably won't happen though. That's just our luck on this channel.
Yep.
absolutely not. A
A recent survey from the ESA, who is the people in charge of E3, claimed that 227 million Americans play video games, which is like 2/3 of the country. So
Which
that's pretty lit.
definitely includes mobile. Like
Yeah, that's
definitely. Like that's the thing. It's not you're playing console. It'd be interesting to see what the split is between all the systems, but otherwise,
But
it's
still,
it's
like
def-
2 out of
that's
3
a
people play
lot.
games, and there's a good
Yeah.
chance 1 out of 3 people play games that isn't mobile. Like that's just
Yeah,
so. Like it's
definitely.
incredible
It's
how
just
big video
insane.
games are.
Yeah,
That's just nuts.
that's why there's just a lot of
it's
them.
a weird thing when we were kids. It was kind of
nerdy.
people would play, but yeah, it was
Yeah, you didn't talk
Insane.
about it. You had to like secretly figure out how to find other people that played,
It's like
so you guys could hang
Yeah.
out
You
not
are-
in public.
well, like I remember in middle school, someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, what's your Xbox?" Like, I didn't have an Xbox. I didn't, but it's
Cut to the Scott the Woz thing. Nintendo punch in the face.
True.
I watched
That was me.
his E3 for this year earlier today.
That's not the one I said to watch.
I watched that
Oh,
one.
he watched.
When
Yeah, he
Grant-
mentioned it yesterday, and he was like, "I know exactly why you guys wanted me to watch that episode."
You are Scott.
I mean, I am in the E3 because he kind of nailed how I felt about Microsoft after the Direct.
See, this is why we wanted you to watch Scott.
In conclusion, the Wii U was great.
The Wii U
Yes.
is great. Scott, outro. Let's go. So speaking of the Wii U, as we mentioned earlier, the eShop for 3DS and Wii U are no longer accepting credit cards as of January 2022.
As of right now, this is only for Japan, though.
But
they'll
it's
probably.
it's the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Look, if they're starting in Japan, that means it's going to go quick after. Like,
So
I think we were a couple, pretty long after on the Wii, though.
okay, but we sold a lot of Wii's. We did not sell a lot of Wii U's.
Yeah, but the 3DS and Wii U shops are linked, so they'll cut them at the same time.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's why I generally don't,
because I was like, I just need to get it over with and buy all the things I wanted.
I generally don't think Nintendo wants to cut them because they still make some money. I think it's the security issue from a few years back.
Yeah, I mean, it's already really hard to log back into your account too, because it's connected to a system that they
also this is not shutting down the system. It's shutting down credit cards. You can still buy eShop cards.
Yeah,
and they will work.
It's still linked to your Switch, which is money for now at least.
So
you're gonna have so many gold coins on your Switch after all that purchasing.
Heck yeah. But yeah, it's the beginning of the end. So you might as well just go ahead and buy the stuff now, or at the first chance you got, go ahead and buy what you want if you've got stuff you've been waiting on.
Yeah.
I highly recommend.
I'm thinking about what I'm missing physically because I know it's gonna start going up crazy when
definitely.
I highly recommend Super Mario Advance 4, like I said, for the e-reader levels.
That was one I was gonna pick up.
Earthbound
eventually.
Beginnings, because that's the first time it was re-released here,
and it hasn't since, right? Yeah,
no.
It wasn't on NES online, and it's not on the.
No, it's nowhere else besides. It's nowhere besides the Wii U eShop.
Exclusive to the Wii U eShop, which is insane.
Earthbound Beginnings and Super Mario Advance 4, I highly recommend.
That's Grant recommending an RPG for you, so
I don't recommend it because it's good. Because honestly, I haven't played much of it. I recommend it because if you don't get it, it's basically FOMO. Like if you like Earthbound and you want to explore that, you need to get it now because after that, there's no telling. Nintendo might not release that game again until 2030 because they love drip feeding BS. So you might as well get it now.
3 consoles later, you finally get it, but it's like the only game on there.
It's weird because I think Japan has them on there.
Of course, Japan has
online. I hate Japan's online. It's so much better.
Freaking speaking of, so we literally just before we started recording, new SNES games got launched. Here's what we get: we got Claymates, Jelly Boy, and Bombuzelle. I don't know what you're doing Friday night, but I'm freaking playing Jelly Boy while people in Japan got Shin Megami Tensei If. But we got Jelly Boy.
Jelly Boy. Good,
I know
why did they pick
SMTF has never been translated, but I'm still kind of jealous because it's what started the Persona series, essentially.
Yeah, it would be cool to have that. Literally, so even with our system of Switch Online, where like each person only pays like $3 because we got the family plan, this is not worth it. This Bombuzelle, I wouldn't pay $3 for that. Even if that was the only game to play.
Right now, my Switch Online's being used for backup saves.
Essentially.
Like, this is so
worthless.
Why? Where's all the good... we still don't have Super Mario RPG or Earthbound on SNES Online.
RPG, I understand, kind of, because Nintendo doesn't own it.
Then where's Earthbound?
It doesn't... Earthbound's the weird one, right?
Where's Earthbound?
Because there's literally no reason.
Where's Game Boy? Where's Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, N64, the stuff that we've been talking about since freaking Switch Online started? Where are the extra systems? Why are we getting Jelly Boy on Super Nintendo?
Yeah, I do kind of hope that they'll be like, we're finally bringing the Game Boy online. I don't see them go.
I'm buying a Steam Deck. That's gonna be my new line every time I get mad at the Switch. I'm buying a Steam Deck.
I was buying a Steam Deck. Yeah, but
This
So,
is like,
that-
I think this is without a doubt the worst part of the Switch. This is terrible,
they're
honestly.
just so
This
bad.
is terrible.
Why? So, look, this perfectly leads into the fact that Netflix is adding video games to their
It's just
services
mobile
because-
games.
Well, for now, but like Netflix could potentially be doing this drip feed better than Nintendo.
They won't because it will be mobile game. Netflix is not going to spend the money when they're hemorrhaging money all the time
That
to
is
buy
true.
real games.
That is
They literally are always hemorrhaging money. Like they haven't been able to pay off any of their debt because they're always just putting the money back into making
new
not
content,
continuing shows, just making
Just
new shows.
new content because they keep losing subscribers because everyone made their own streaming service and they're all better because they have content unlike Netflix.
This is dystopia.
This is dystopia.
Netflix is making mobile games, and all I've got to show for my Switch Online is Claymates and Bamboo Zone.
And
Hold on, we have Super Metroid, which
we have
is where I'm
Jelly
gonna play it.
Boy. We have Jelly Boy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Jelly Boy. Sorry.
Don't forget about Jelly Boy.
I actually did realize I was like, where am I gonna play Super Metroid? Oh yeah, Nintendo Switch Online has it.
But yeah, no, that's very much going to be a developing story. I feel like it'll develop as well as Stadia did.
What about Amazon Luna though?
We haven't heard of that. That's not a thing.
It is.
You're making that up.
Bro,
Scott has
so
a subscription
Luna,
to it.
You're making Luna up.
Amazon
refuse.
Luna is Stadia's Stadia. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like if
Look,
Stadia
likes it
had
better.
something worse than it that was like the Stadia of Stadia, it'd be Luna.
It's Luna. Look, I don't podcast with insane people. All right.
So we
Stop.
can't podcast with Scott because he likes Luna better.
Dude, if Scott the Waz wanted to podcast with us, I don't care what I'm doing.
Oh man,
calling
I'm
out a
sorry.
name.
2 people that think the Wii U was great.
We'll just get the completionists, and then we'll have 3.
We'll have the whole group. That's all 3 Wii U owners. Let's go.
All right, so moving on to a sporadic segment that we have here, Rumor Roundup. I found a lot of stuff, so I figured we'd make this its own thing. So first off, Spill Spencer revealed that the reason he has a Switch on his shelf is because Nintendo gave it to him. I did see that. So that's cool.
It's been talked about. Like every leaker's like, "Don't worry, it means something," and then he's like, "Yeah, it's a gift."
Yeah, it means it's a gift, idiots.
So I read this information off VentureBeat. There's multiple articles about it, but basically Jeff Grubb, you probably know his name. He talks about this stuff all the time.
Oh yeah, I heard about this one.
So he claims, which he's claimed for a while now. Everyone kind of knows that he's saying this, that Metroid Prime Trilogy for Switch is pretty much done and waiting to be released, most likely so that it can be used as a marketing thing for Metroid Prime 4. And he claims that like Nintendo can afford to sit on Metroid Prime Trilogy and just do other things, and that's what they're doing with it. Like they don't really need the money right now.
Well,
So
and they don't have to release it right now. Between the fact that Dread's coming out later this year.
Yeah, no, it's just
yeah, so they're
done.
they're
Like,
holding
they're
it.
not-
They've been holding it for a while. They're holding it for Metroid Prime 4. They want to
Yeah.
use that as a marketing thing.
Which is completely fair. It will help the sales of
Yeah,
both.
they're not losing money just having it sit there.
Nintendo's
while they
interesting
wait.
to me because they're the only ones who will actually sit on finished games.
only when
Everybody
only
else
when they can afford
Wants to get them out as fast
Only
as
when
possible.
they can afford to. That's
Yeah.
true. Wii U was
That-
not,
Yeah,
except for Zelda.
I'll agree with that, but
Zelda's
a lot
just
of them,
forever.
we've heard of them sitting on games before like this, just because they're like, there's a better time to release this.
So yeah.
Supposedly, I don't think it was him, but it ties into this. they've already finished. Okay, so it is here later listed, and I think it kind of ties in. Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD
Are
Wii U
also
ports.
done, and they're sitting
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
But we
So-
know they're not coming this year because they said they're not doing anything else Zelda this year.
Yeah, for the
And I think it's-
anniversary.
Right, and I think it's kind of not to take away. I know that it will probably be late 2022 when Breath of the Wild 2 comes out. But I expect something in later this year to be like a big Zelda thing for
So
Breath of the
we'll
Wild
cross
2.
that bridge
Like,
when we get there, but I've got an idea for it as well, I think. So these other leaks come from a common person that leaks stuff on Twitter a lot called Marco Moro, and there's also some other stuff from Jeff Grubb mixed in here. It's kind of all a big hodgepodge of stuff. So these are a bunch of things that are claimed from Nintendo to be coming. A lot of them are pretty believable. Obviously take it with a grain of salt. So a new 2D Donkey Kong game originally planned for this holiday season will supposedly come sometime next year. I can believe that. There's been a Donkey Kong game on literally every system since the
And retro-
NES. The NES had the Donkey Kong arcade games. Super
I was
Nintendo
gonna say
had-
there isn't one on the GameCube, but there is.
There is. There's Jungle Beat. Oh yeah. There's Country Returns on the Wii. There's 3D on the 3DS. Tropical Freeze on Wii U and Switch. Donkey Kong Country on Super Nintendo. Donkey Kong Land and Donkey Kong Country on Game Boy and Game Boy Advance respectively. Okay, forgive me. There was no Donkey Kong game on Virtual Boy. So
No, but there's Jack Bros made by Atlas.
great. Cool. So
Thank
yeah,
you,
that's
Alex.
that was originally gonna come out this holiday season and supposedly will come
I
out next year.
believe it because before they were now working on Prime, we didn't know what
Retro was
Retro
doing.
was working on. So I 100% believe they were working on another Donkey Kong game because they already had two under their belt.
Yeah.
Kind of four-ish because you had Country Returns and then you had its 3D port. And then you had Tropical Freeze and its Switch port.
Yeah. So that would be cool. I'm always down for some new Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong has not disappointed me. Besides Donkey Konga, which I will burn.
It's a little weird. We don't have, unless I'm forgetting something, and one of you catch me, outside of Metroid, which isn't the same vein, we don't have a 2D platformer announced for Nintendo for this year. Because they've got Kirby, Mario, and Donkey Kong, which usually cover those, but I don't think one's come out in the last.
I think that's a great thing. Nintendo last
it
generation
will help.
was so flooded with freaking platformers that to not have
Yeah,
like
the
to have a bunch of
3DS
other stuff is just it's a breath of fresh
3DS
air.
is all
I was
I
super
get-
burnt out at the end of the Wii U generation with like all the crap that was just platformers. Like even if they were good platformers, like I don't want to play that many platformers. You know, like I want some variety. I'm just glad.
I guess we did get a
glad to see it.
platformer earlier this year, but it's not 2D. It's 3D World. And we didn't just get a platformer in that. We got Bowser's Fury.
Which is still a platformer. It's just a new one.
Yeah, true.
At
I
least it's
just
not
think
2D.
it's a little strange because Metroid games are, while they're 2D, they can be clarified as 2D platformers. They're not. They're Metroidvania
Vanias,
games, and
yeah.
yeah.
No, they're not platformers. You don't do platforming. Isn't the main thing you do in the game.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't call it that. So Splatoon 3 estimated for early summer next year.
I know we're all getting it right.
Well, duh. Yeah, I'm in on that. Bayonetta 3 is supposedly in the final stages of development. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be thinking about it. I know, but the first
Hold on,
trailer,
Bill Trinan brought it up first, so we're okay.
the first trailer is supposed to come no earlier than September of this year. So sometime late
Look,
this year, at the earliest
there's-
September, but probably not till later.
If there's a trailer, I'll be shocked.
Game Awards,
Like even if it
No.
finally after 6 years, Bayonetta 3 at the Game Awards. Yeah.
Intelligent Systems has apparently finished a new Fire Emblem Echoes for the first half of next year, and is working on working on a remake of the original Paper Mario for N64 to launch sometime within the next 2 years. So
I really want to
2023.
talk about both of these. So it's been rumored I knew about the Fire Emblem remake, which the Echoes line is a very rumored thing, kinda, because the last time they remade a game from that old, they used that Echoes title for it because they essentially reimagined that Fire Emblem game. The biggest rumored ones were they're either remaking Fire Emblem 4, which is known for like really long maps. Like there aren't a lot of maps in the game, but they're really, really long. Or they're remaking the Tellus games with Ike, the one on GameCube and Wii. Which I would really like them to remake those because they cost a lot.
That would be cool.
I would love a Paper Mario remake as well. If they redo like all the assets to be like, if it's just Paper Mario but it looks like Color HD, Splash and Origami King, I would love it immediately.
Yeah.
Because my biggest problem with the original Paper Mario, because Thousand Year Doors aged really well, but the original one has not.
Just like every other N64 game.
Right. It's probably best we didn't get a Metroid game on it.
Yes.
But if one happens, I would be super excited. I know some people would either really like it or some people would be really mad, like Paper Mario fans. But they're like never happy anyway, so who cares?
Pikmin 4 apparently had a similar reboot to Metroid Prime 4, and the game is very close to being finished. Quote.
Again?
That tells
Let's
us
go.
That tells us nothing.
We know nothing.
You know what? That's the only reason I believe we have, because we had Miyamoto. He's like, Pikmin 4 is almost done. No. And then nothing outside of Pikmin 4 is not Hey Pikmin.
Yeah. Metroid Prime Trilogy mentioned for first half of next year, with Metroid Prime 4 at 65% completion. So 2 years ago, we got the announcement that they were starting over. And if they're at 65% now, that's about 30% a year. So that would make sense that next year, second half, that there would be
the trilogy.
Metroid Prime 4. And then, so second half, Metroid Prime 4, first half, Metroid Prime Trilogy. So, like, you give them, like, a couple months. You give it, like, 4 months between the trilogy or something.
But I was thinking more like they'll release the trilogy in, like, late summer, early fall. And then early 2023, they would release Prime 4.
Maybe for, like, a fiscal year cap.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah, I could buy that. Yeah, because especially if Breath of the Wild 2 launches in fall of next year, then they don't want to overdo it.
But this would also give them that time they want to finish polishing it. Because you're about right on the percentages. But you know they're going to take that time. It's different than like their Mario Party and Mario Sports teams. Zelda and Metroid, they're like, we rarely release these, and we really need this Metroid game to be good.
Yeah, because everyone's expecting the world out of it, with it taking so long. So yeah, that's exciting. I mean, hopefully it doesn't fall apart again. Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD are done and will release at some point. Not necessarily for the 30th anniversary, most likely not, because they said they would. But this last part I put, like, it could possibly be used to satiate the fans of Zelda if Breath of the Wild 2 got delayed again.
100% believe it.
That's my speculation. That's not from the leaker. That's just what I think. Like,
Yeah, but I don't know if Breath of the Wild 2 will be delayed again. But we know from Breath of the Wild 1, they kept coming up outside of the last delay, which was specifically for the Switch. They kept coming up with like, hey, this is a cool idea. And they're like, okay, the horse will no longer run into trees.
yeah.
Because horses in real life don't run into trees.
I love that. That's such a fun fact.
So yeah, that's exciting. I need that in my life. I need portable Wind Waker.
The big thing I want from Wind Waker ported to Switch. I want autosave.
Yes.
Because it crashed on me on the Wii U and I lost a lot of progress.
Well, if Skyward Sword HD has autosave, I'm sure they're going to give it.
And so does Twilight Princess. Wind Waker's the only HD port without it.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll give it to it. Remakes of Oracle. So this is my favorite one, I think. Remakes of Oracle of Ages and Oracle and Seasons in the works for 2022 to 2023, probably 23, and possibly will contain the game that was originally planned for the Game Boy Color. So if you aren't fully saturated Nintendo fan like we are, Oracle of Ages and Seasons was supposed to be a trilogy of 3 games, and they ended up cutting it down to 2 because of constraints. So
it was Ages Seasons. I don't remember what the third one was.
I don't think there was ever they weren't given an official name for it, but there was a third game. It was like they worked on it for a little bit. So even without that last part, I would kill for a remake of Ages and Seasons. I've played through most of Seasons, and I love it. Similar to how I love Link's Awakening. I think it's very unique. I think it's awesome. The music is beautiful. And
we're gonna hand it to Grisco, right? And have them use the Link's Awakening engine.
I hope so. I'd kill for that. I would kill for literally...
That's fully what I expect.
I mean, because like Oracle of Ages and Seasons was pretty much the Link's Awakening engine. Originally.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like, not the same
engine.
Is
it the original? No, a color engine, right? Because they're on...
well, DX is just the same game, but in color.
Right.
So it's the same graphical style. Like Ages and Seasons just has more color in it and stuff, but it's the same style. So I would totally take it as Ages and Seasons in that same freaking art style that they did with Link's Awakening, which was really good. I'd be so down for that. I love those games, and if they do. Which seems like kind of like wishful thinking, honestly. But if they do bring back that third game and make it a whole thing, I would freak out. I think that would be so cool.
So it was supposed... Yeah, known facts. It was going to be Legend of Zelda Mythical Seed of Courage. And it was going to feature Feyor, which is the green one, which we knew. Let's see. Was going to focus on time travel puzzles involving the time of day. And Oracle of Ages was originally going to focus on color-based puzzles. But absorbed... So, okay, according to this, Mythical Seed of Courage was going to be a sequel to both. And it was going to use time. But they canceled it, so Ages took the time aspect.
Okay. So yeah, that'd be really cool. Detective Pikachu 2 will have a trailer debut next year, along with Detective Pikachu 1 that will be ported, apparently. Don't care. And speaking of Pokemon, Gen 9 is unlikely to happen next year, as there is a Let's Go sequel planned for late next year, which means freaking Gen 2 Let's Go is coming to Switch. Let's go.
Which means like 5 Pokemon games with
that.
Let's go, Johto.
Oh my gosh.
That would be cool. It would hurt to see how like kind of lesser it would be in comparison to Heart Gold and Soul Silver, because they would remove a lot of the extra things that you could do.
Yeah, I agree there. Like, but the goal is not to be a Heart Gold Soul. It's not meant to be a remake. It's meant to be a remake that's simpler. And
True.
I loved the first Let's Go because a lot more people got into Pokemon that way. I think it's a great way to get people into Pokemon.
It's
And also, I
very
had fun with it. It's a good way to like play through a Pokemon game where you don't have to care that much. Like
this idea is very interesting to me because I would love it because I love Johto. I'd be really upset if they cut Kanto though. If it was just like, here's Let's Go Johto, psych, it's
Like,
all
go
Johto.
buy Kanto,
Yeah.
idiots.
Also, the Pokeball Plus was a super fun thing to use, and taking your Pokemon
True.
with it is very reminiscent of the Pokewalker. So I would
True.
love to have that mechanic come back for Let's Go
Something
Johto and the
about-
controllers and everything.
Oh,
So-
no, I remember now. Okay, the reason this idea is interesting to me this leak, the director of the Let's Go game said they were not going to do anything past Kanto, which was always dumb to me. But
We don't like money.
well, no, it's because Game Freak loves Kanto
True.
over every other region.
Also true.
But I wouldn't mind seeing Johto remade. I wouldn't really mind seeing any region remade with the Let's Go engine. It's a little weird though to be like, all right, we remade Johto with this engine, but we had someone else remake Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, that is weird.
And they're different remakes essentially, but you still do the same game. I don't know. But I also think Diamond and Pearl will run better, so.
Well, that's it for Rumor Roundup. So lots of exciting things in the works, I think. I really hope...
Even if half of this
Yeah.
is true, that'd be cool.
Super, super awesome. So I'm very excited for the future. Finishing up topic. So we've talked a lot about Bloomberg here. Everybody's talking about Bloomberg. Bloomberg puts out a lot of reports that are kind of businessy for companies and like rumors and stuff. And they've been the main driving force of all these rumors of Switch Pro, 4K Switch, DLSS, all this crap. And they got the OLED screen right. That's the one thing they did get right. So they claimed that the Switch only costs $10 more a unit to produce compared to the regular Switch, but they're charging $50 more, and therefore Nintendo is making a higher profit margin. And Nintendo had to come out on their official business account and say that was false.
Hey, idiot.
And
they came out in English for this.
Yeah, and that
Which is rare.
both that was false, and that they have no plans to announce any other model at this time. And they did that because if they didn't, then their investors would go with that rumor and then have high expectations for their earnings report for the quarter after the Switch OLED dropped.
Where they get audits.
Yeah, and they don't want to disappoint their investors with numbers that never existed. So they came out and stated this just to make sure that their investors know that there's nothing going on and they shouldn't expect abnormally high profit next earnings report. Like, there's going to be high profit because it's a new model and it's obviously going to be selling well, at least for the first little bit.
Yeah.
So,
but it's not going to be a higher profit margin than what they're already.
It's not going to be even bigger. They don't want to lead their investors in the wrong direction. They can't lie to those people. That's also why they had to come out and say we're not planning an additional model, because they have to tell they can't hide it forever. They'd have to tell their investors, if nothing else. So
it's where we get a lot of leaks from Disney.
Yeah, they've got to tell their investors if they don't tell anyone else. So yeah, that was weird. Nintendo never does that. They never come out and deal with rumors and stuff. They're very against giving the fuel to any rumor. So
But
it's
this
really
time
weird
they
for them
really,
to see
really
that.
needed to.
Yeah, I guess they really just didn't want to piss off their investors, or they just had enough of Bloomberg talking a bunch of shit and were like,
Fine,
Yeah.
we're gonna shut you
Both
down.
of these are
We're all
possible
idiots.
for Nintendo, though.
and like, I'm not one to defend corporations because I have a general negative view of most corporations just from a business perspective. But even if they were, I mean, they're running a business. Like, and what do you do when you run a business? Make money. What are they doing?
Ooh,
Trying to
we
make more
love
money. And like, again, I'm not defending. Like, I think if it was true, I would still have a bit of a problem with it because that's a big price hike per unit, and they're selling like 50 million of these things. So like, again, I'm not one to defend corporations because most of, if not all, corporations are stinky when it comes to business. But I mean, yeah, like, what did you expect? They're a business. Like, what does every video game business do? They do a bunch of stinky things to make more money, and Nintendo's a business. Like, they're not doing loot crates, but you know, if this was true, it's just another stinky business thing that every other business person does. It still suck. I'm just glad it's not true. I think it's that makes it a lot better on people that were hating on the Switch OLED because that was giving a lot of fuel to those people. And also was going to be a reason some people didn't want to buy it. They didn't want to support that kind of practice. So Nintendo coming out and confirming that also will probably help sales.
Disappoint me a little though that everybody's gonna have seen the original one that claims they're making more money, and not as many people will see this one.
Rebuttal, yeah.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people
Very,
will see the
very
rebuttal
sad.
because a lot of people.
I hope so. I'm
all
just
the
going back.
YouTubers I've been watching have reported on it because it's like it's almost like Keemstar's drama alert, but for video games. Like, ooh, Nintendo
hope
clapping
so.
buck with Bloomberg clickbait. You know, like RGT85 had one where it's like, oh, Nintendo clapping back at Bloomberg or something, even though they're not. They're just stating business wise, like we are not doing that.
Oh,
So like,
boy.
there's a ton of YouTubers talking about it. So I think a lot of people have heard the news.
That's
I'm
good.
sure.
I
Excellent.
was just basing mine off like previous events.
Yeah.
That are kind
Well,
of
like
similar.
it's going to be reported on if Nintendo has to officially, like, on their business Twitter, not on their advertising Twitter, but on their business Twitter, have to come out and say something specifically against a rumor that it's going to be talked about, because that never happens. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Thanks for sticking around for the long episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Please share us with a friend. Comment on the YouTube version of this video. Tell us what you think. Did you get a Switch OLED? Did you manage a pre-order? Did you get a Steam Deck? Are you one of those people? Oh, we're sorry about being so jokey about it.
We aren't.
But yeah, definitely let us know. Are you gonna buy a bunch of stuff on the Wii U eShop now that
Or
it's going
3DS.
away? Yeah.
Look, we've talked about a lot of things.
What are
Just,
you most
know,
excited for in the rumors that we talked about? Give us a paragraph. We want to know everything that you want to know. Follow us on Twitter
Today's-
at AllNightGamers with a K. Share us with a friend. We post every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube.com/StormwindGames. And that's going to do it for us this week on the show. We will see you next week for more scalper talk, per the usual. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.